Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. We're building on with our combined arms and looking at ships. So one of the ships that's recently been, or relatively recently been introduced in DCS are the three Chinese ships. And the first we're looking at is the Frigate. It's the type 054A class. So what we've got here, we'll look at some basic information and then we'll go in and actually use it and shoot some stuff with it. So the type 54A, NATO code name, can you give us an interpretation of that, Onslaught?
In Chinese, unfortunately, I can't find the actual Chinese word for it, but I can probably pronounce it as Jiangkai or it's Jiangkai.
Okay, frigate class Chinese multi-role frigates, the first of which was entered the People's Liberation Army, the Chinese Army, in 2007. It is a development of the original 054 frigate, using the same hull but with improved sensors and weapons. The type 054A was first revealed while under construction in Guangzhou-based Hongpu shipyard in 2005. So we're going to skip down to the hulls next. So this is the class. This is a type 54A class. These are the hulls. The one we get in DCS is hull 538, the Yantai. All of them are active. They were laid down from, and sorry, we don't have any laid down dates. We have launch dates from 2016. We don't really have any launch dates either. But what we can say is the earliest ones, I think, were 2007, 2008, commissioned, and they're still building them. So some are coming out in 2018, so they're modern vessels, all in active service. Just out of interest, Pakistan has ordered two, I think, or at least, or some of these, but they haven't got them yet. And Thailand nearly got some, but didn't. So we're going to go to the operators. Only operators at the moment are the Chinese Communist Army, preceded by the Type 054 frigate. The cost is 1.4 billion per unit, but that's yen. So is that yen, guys? Is it yen?
No, it's Chinese.
That should be won.
Oh, my bad. One.
Yeah, it's the Chinese yuan.
Right, okay, I don't know how much that is. So, in commission, 2008 to present, as we said. Planned, 30 have been built. So they've all been built, apparently. At least the planned ones for the Chinese. And 30 of them are all still active. Type frigate, the displacement is just over 4,000 tons full. So it puts them contemporary with the other two frigates that we've looked at so far in DCS. Sorry, the other three frigates are all around the 4,000 ton mark. Length is 134 meters, so that's actually a fair bit shorter than I think all of the other Russian and NATO frigates we've looked at so far. The beam is 16 meters, and interesting, it's done it from CCTV reports, so it's all, you know, secret. Propulsion. Now this is an interesting one. This is combined diesel and diesel. So diesel engines, piston engines. So I wonder why, if anyone can answer me who's watching, why the newest vessels that we're looking at in DCS have gone back to diesel. So all the other vessels, the American and the Russian that we've looked at so far, have had combined gas turbines, and we decided that's because they produce a massive amount of power for not much weight. They're very efficient things to have in a ship. So why have we gone back to diesel piston engines? It seems a step back to me. So I'd like to know what you guys think of that. So the way it works is you've got multiple engines clutched to a single gearbox or a multi-gearbox to one shaft and propeller. The engines are for Shanghai, that's there, producing 7,600 horsepower at about 1,000 RPM. That's a total of what? Just over 30,000 horsepower, which is fairly weak compared with the other frigates we've looked at. So the combined gas have produced a lot more horsepower. Speed, consequently, for the same weight is 27 knots. So it is the slowest we've seen so far. Range, 8,000 nautical miles, which is about, I think, probably the highest that we've seen so far in terms of frigates. I think the next highest was 6,000 nautical miles. We're assuming this is on cruise, and this is estimated, obviously. Presumably, that's a product of the diesel engine. I'm guessing it's just more fuel efficient per mile than the combined gas engines for roughly the same horsepower. The complement is 165 crew. Now we're going to go on to the sensors and processing, and this is the most modern ship we've seen so far. So we're going to have the most modern, impressive array of sensors, presumably. In fact, anything you guys want to add so far before we carry on?
The biggest reason is more on cost issues. So it's still cheaper to run and develop a diesel-powered ship rather than a gas turbine or even a nuclear-powered one.
Alright, so it's probably just
much cheaper, and it's also easier to in terms of logistics since diesel is.
Right, back to the sensors. So first of all, we've got a Type 382 radar. So this is what we call 3D search radar, and this is this air and surface? I think they usually are air and surface, aren't they? So as a traditional radar in your F-15 or your F-18 is two-dimensional, it has to do an extra scan to get the the range, an extra FM ranging scan. This is a 3D radar which can get azimuth, distance, and scan and whatnot. And altitude all in one go. It's the benefit of a 3D radar, and it has this kind of weird twin plate spin around, as you'll see.
Yeah, about the Type 382, it's actually a variant of the top plate we saw in the Neustra Chemi, with a couple modifications they made to it, so it's mostly going to be like the top plate.
That's interesting. Do we think there's a link here generally between these sensors and Russian sensors, or is it just that one, do you think?
There's several of them, like the bandstand and the front dome are based off of Russians. They've collaborated on a few projects.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Okay, then we've got the Type 344 radar. This is a mineral ME band stand over the horizon target acquisition and surface-to-surface fire control radar. So it basically finds other ships over the horizon, which is going to be interesting how this works in DCS for finding vessels. Now, how it works, how an over the horizon radar works, I guess we haven't got time to really go into today, but it'd be interesting if people know exactly how that works. It's very interesting. It's obviously non-line of sight technology. Next, we've got 4 times, it says, Type 345 radar MR90 front dome SAM fire control radar. So what have you got to say about that, Daishi?
That's actually a misprint on here. The Type 345 is MR35s for a shorter range missile. The MR front dome, though, it's for the longer ranged missiles that this one has, or medium.
Roger, and we'll go into that in a bit. But this is basically fire control for the SAM launchers. I wonder why it's got 4, like one at front, one at back, two at the sides. I'm guessing. It just seems interesting why they've got 4 of them, but I guess we'll look at that on the boat. So they're domed as well. Okay, fair enough. Next is the MR36A Surface Search Radar I-band Type 347G 76mm gunfire. So this is the MR36A is the fire control, radar fire control for the gun, the 76mm gun. And like with a lot, all or most of these vessels, well, not all, some of these vessels we've looked at, the gun is radar controlled. It can shoot just about anything. Shoot ground targets. It can shoot surface sea vessels. It can shoot airborne targets. So you can have various types of ammunition, automated, and so it's a nice piece of kit. Next is 2 times Racal RM1290 navigation radars in the I-band. So we'll see them on the ship. Next is an MGK335 medium frequency active passive sonar system. So passive means that it can listen for submarines. Active means that it can jam and do things like that in terms of active sonar. With regards to sonar, we also have the HSJG206 towed array. So do you want to talk a bit about that, Daishi, and what that's for?
The towed sonar array, you use that to listen beneath the thermocline, I think what it's called. It's the temperature barrier between like a warm water and cold water, and sound acts weird when it tries to go through.
So it's a centered array that we literally tow from a cable behind the boat. We sink it down below the troublesome part of the water, and then it listens as another object for listening to submarines, basically. So that's that. Pretty standard on most of the frigates we've seen. Next is a ZKJ4B6 combat data system. Now, we couldn't really figure out what this is. We thought maybe it's something similar to the American Aegis. But anyone got any final thoughts on that? Okay, next is the data link, the HN900 data link. It's the Chinese equivalent of the Link 16A or B used by America, NATO, which is to be upgraded. So this allows obviously the various vessels in the fleet, whether they're spread out or not, to transfer information via radio link on targets, navigation, targets, stuff like that, exactly as we do with the aircraft in DCS. Next, we've got an SN-TI-240 SATCOM, satellite communications. We've got a similar AKD-5000S KU band SATCOM. Electronic warfare and decoys. We've got the Type 9221 radar warning system. So that is going to listen for any hostile radars or friendly radars, but So it's a warning system as the same in our aircraft. We've got HZ-100 ECM and ELINT system. So an ECM, electronic countermeasures, so jamming, various types of jamming. ELINT for collecting information about hostile radars, listening for hostile radars and plotting their position. We've also got a Kashtan-3 missile jamming system, and we couldn't get any information about this. The Kashtan, from our experience, means something completely different. So be interested if anyone else there, has information on the Kashtan-3 missile jamming system. It's going to be part of the ECM suite, presumably. Anything from you two about the sensors and the decoys before we move on?
347G radar for the guns. The NATO name is Rice Bowl.
Rice Bowl. We've actually got actually got an MR. Oh right, yeah, I got that here. So that's the Rice Bowl, is it?
Yeah, Rice Bowl, I think is dome.
Interesting. All right, we'll have a look on the vessel. Okay, guys, armament bit you've all been waiting for. So, surface to air SAMs. We've got 32 cell vertical launch system carrying the HHQ-16 SAM.
That's a medium range SAM. It's a combination of the SA-11 with some features from the SA-17. The Tor system.
Oh, right. Okay, so we're expecting probably to see SA-11 performance kind of up to 20-ish miles or something like that. So we'll see how that goes. And that's from the VLS as well. So they could probably have multiple launches and track. We'll just have to find out the hardware. Or a mixture of YU-8 anti-submarine rocket launchers. We don't have those in DCS. We just have the SAMs. Next, we have 2x4 C-803 anti-ship land attack cruise missiles. So we don't know how they fly yet, known as the YJ-83. We're going to have to find out in DCS. I suppose let's just have a quick look and see what information we got on basic range and stuff.
I found that website from earlier. It states on this other website that I had that it can go out to excess 180 kilometers.
Yeah, I'm reading that here. I've got different models, and I don't know which model, but between 120 and 200 kilometers. So it's kind of a 120, 130 mile missile. So that should be interesting using that, and we can use that against ground targets as well. So we'll have a play with that Mach 0.9 with a 190 kilo blast frag warhead.
The missile is powered by a turbo, so the initial launch from the ship is by a solid booster to propel it out, and then the remaining cruise is from their turbojet engine. Roger.
Okay, very good. Gonna head back. Interesting, you only get 8, but I guess it is only a frigate, so okay. Next is the PJ-26 76mm dual-purpose gun, radar-driven by the Rice Bowl. We'll have a look at that. 2x Type 730 7-barrel 30mm Sea-Whiz guns. So these are radar-guided, autonomous 30mm Gatling guns. So it's like the equivalent of a GAU-8 basically on each side of the ship for defending against missiles, obviously. So we'll see if we can get them to fire in DCS. Next, we've got 2x3 324mm YU-7 anti-submarine warfare torpedo launchers. So if we find the torpedoes with our sensors on board, we can fire these torpedoes at them. Next, we've got 2x6 Type 87 240mm anti-submarine rocket launchers, 36 rockets carried in total. Do you want to talk about that, Daiichi?
Okay, they're like the RQK 6000 launchers that we've seen on the Russian ships. They're the depth storage launchers.
Okay, very good. 2x Type 726-4 18-tube decoy rocket launcher. So that's a little bit deceiving. I think what that's saying is those are the physical countermeasure pods, which doesn't say what they fire, but I'm going to guess that is a mixture of chaff and flare, because strange as it sounds, these modern ships do send out chaff and flare to confuse radars and any heat-seeking weapons.
I'm actually thinking those might be more for use against so that it confuses the submarine sonars, because perhaps it's like some kind of a additional noise makers. So that it will disrupt the sonar detectability of the ship. to the other submarines in the area. Something like that.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, on all the other ships we've looked at, it said that they're chaff and flare launchers, but this it doesn't. So that may be very well be it's an anti-submarine decoy.
I mean, I'm just guessing at this point.
Roger. Well, let us know. I mean, obviously we don't know a lot about this ship, but let us know what you think. Okay, and aircraft carried either a Kamov KA-28. I think that's the one we get in DCS. Mainly, I mean, for various operations, but primarily for anti-submarine use as well. What's the American system called, guys? I forgot.
Lamps.
Lamps, yeah. So an equivalent of that, I'd imagine. Or a Harbin, that one there, but we don't get that, so I'm not going to worry about that. And a hangar. Right, next we're going to jump into DCS. We're going to have a look around at the model, spot all the different antennae and stuff, and then we're going to start shooting stuff with it, so stand by. Okay, welcome back. So, here is our Yantai. I know it says hull number 500 on it, and I don't know why it says that, but it's definitely the 538. So, let's go front to back and start looking at stuff. So, down here, are we all agreed that these are going to be the anti-submarine, quote-unquote, rocket launchers, as it says?
That is correct.
Right, there's the 76mm radar-guided gun. Here is the VLS system. So, if we can see, there's a rack of 8 by a rack of 4. 4 times 8 is 32. So, these are the 32 SA-11 type SAMs. What are they called? The HHQ-16, were they, guys?
Correct.
Roger. Now I'm going to have a look, move back and have a look at these antennae, which is quite a lot. So there is the 3D search radar. So that's that. There is one of the navigation radars there. So what we've got to identify is what is this dome here and what is this guy here. So we think do we think the dome is the fire control for the... No, the fire control for the gun wasn't domed. So we did think... What do we think?
That is... Sorry, that is the bandstand.
Oh, which one? What I'm pointing at now?
Yeah, the big old domed one in the front.
The domed one at the front. Right, that's the bandstand. And what does that serve? I've forgotten.
That's here. That's for the YJ-83 fire control, the cruise missile. Type 344.
Yeah, roger. Right, so we think this is the Type 344 over the horizon control system, which is going to be used for these guys here, the long-range cruise missiles. Okay, very good, guys. Next, we've got these little chaps here. Does anyone have an inkling of what these guys could be here? There's 4 of them. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Those are the MR90 front domes for the HHQ-16.
And the HHQ-16 are these guys here, the SAMs, aren't they?
Yep.
Right, so we think those and those are fire control for the SAMs. Okay. By the way, we've got a second navigation radar back there that I'm highlighting. Right, let's move back then, guys. Next in order, we've got this guy here, and by deductive logic, I'm going to have to assume that this is the fire control for the gun. But what do you guys think of this here?
You're correct.
Sorry, yeah, that is the rice bowl. That's the fire control.
That's the rice bowl. Roger. Okay, beautiful work so far. We're going to head back now. There was something that piques my interest. Excuse me as I just get my controls back. Okay, so if we go on the side here, you see we've got him, him, and him. My sense is there that they might be RWRs, electronic warfare. Do you guys agree with that? These kind of semicircle things. If you can see my cursor.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree that.
Yeah, the best I was able to find, everything points to them being EW, so that's probably the ECMs alongside the RBW.
Roger. Okay, that's that. We're getting there, guys. These little chaps here, these are the inflatable things if the ship sinks, isn't it? For the crew.
Yep.
Roger. Right, let's see what we got next. Next, we've got the cruise missiles. We've got 8 total of the cruise missiles at the range of about 120 miles, and we'll have a play with them later. So they should be interesting launching them. Like we said, they get rocket fired out of here, and then they turn on their jet engine. Okay, very good, guys. I think it's getting a bit confusing here. A mast, probably SATCOM, communications. Tall masts here for various types of communications. But we've got 3 domes here, and I've run out of things to label them as. Do we know what these 3 domes could be?
That large dome. Oh, just a second. Okay, the large dome is an air surface search radar, but the other website that I'm using only has the factory name, so I can't match that with the type number.
Roger. Okay. We've got more domes. We've got more antennae than it says in the Wikipedia. Okay, and it's also got a couple of mini domes here. I don't suppose anyone knows what these mini domes could be.
Probably SATCOM, those two middle, tinier ones.
Roger. Okay. Then we've got the Sea Whizzes, 30mm. Whoa, they look dangerous. Very good. Completely independent with their independent fire control systems. Okay. And presumably they are linked to the main fire control system, but they can work independently, as I understand it. Okay, next we've got these guys. I recognise these as the decoy launchers. Is that what you guys see here?
Yeah, I think it's either that or chaff. It was confusing. I got conflicting sources.
Oh, we've got Onslaught's found this.
Yeah, I found a PDF talking about all these. It is a chef and flare launcher for the most part, but it can also be equipped with anti-submarine torpedo launchers.
Roger.
Rocket torpedo launchers. Yeah. So
That
it's
is
kind
insane.
of dual purpose, but their main purpose, at least on this ship, is launching flares and decoys. Chaff.
Roger. Makes sense. Okay, guys. Here, these little roller things, as we understand it, these roll up and or down, and they let the torpedoes out, don't they?
Correct.
So beside eject torpedoes for anti-submarine, okay. We've got the helipad for the KA-28. We've got the window here for the guidance to guide them in. Got some lights for guidance. We've got the hangar here for the helicopter inside the hangar. And we've got one more dome we haven't covered, which is here. Any idea of this funny little dome at the back here? I can't think of anything. Maybe, I don't think the ECMs, I don't think the, maybe it's another type of ECM or electronic warfare. I can't think of anything that this could do back here. It's not really serving any purpose, this dome at the back.
I think it's satellite communications. The problem is the source I have has numbers pointing to them, but they don't actually identify what they are.
Roger. Okay. Well, we've done the best we can. We've got all the information that we can get. We found it hard getting information on this ship. These look like lights for guiding the helicopters in bad weather. Interestingly modelled. You can see, the little gangway going in there. It's interesting. You see a single screw down there. I can't get. Oh, is it twin screw? No, it is twin screw. Ah, I didn't realise it was twin screw, but it's definitely, unless I'm seeing a reflection, that's twin. So 4 engines for 2 propellers. Okay, fair enough. Right, anything else you guys could think of pointing out on the exterior model? It's a good high quality model, as we can see. It should have a good damage model, as we'll probably find out soon. Anything else you want to point out on the model?
If you look at the back, you saw there's that little tiny hole in there. All the way in the aft. Yep, that tiny hole in at the back would be where your towed sonar array comes up.
Right, so that's where our little towed thing comes back. Lovely. Cool.
I managed to find some info on the Kashtan 3 jammer.
Yes.
It's basically a laser jammer designed to jam against laser guided munitions.
Right, so a laser guided Maverick comes in from the side, you can blind it with that laser.
Something like that, yep.
That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So that is going to be... Oh, so one of these domes that we've misidentified is going to be the Kashtan 3. It's going to have a laser that can shoot out, but which one it is, there's no way of finding out as far as I'm aware.
I'm wondering if it's actually already on the Sea-Whiz. Like, if you notice there's the little ball dome that's on it, that might be the laser.
Interesting. So the dish is the antenna for the radar, and maybe, let us know what you think. We don't know at the end of the day. Okay, guys, we did an okay job there with the info that we've got to identify that stuff. Looks like a pretty cool vessel, so let's go and play with it. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to choose our coalition. I'm going to be blue. We're going to be a game master. You could be a tactical commander as well. Okay. So to move the vessel about, we're going to grab it. We're going to set path. We're going to left click. We're going to left click again. We're going to right click to confirm. We're going to tell it speed in miles per hour, not knots, but miles per hour. We can tell it its ROE, fire, return fire, or hold. Its state of green, red, or auto. So if you want it to be ready to fire straight away at battle stations, you can keep it red. And that's that. So what we'll do is try attacking a target. Let's just see it get him moving. You see it speeding up now, up to 20 knots, 20, whatever I've told it to go. So let's try attacking a ground target first of all. So what we're going to do is fire a single. It's probably going to choose a missile with this. I don't get to choose which actual weapon I use. It will choose the best one for me. Now, add target. I'm going to just click somewhere over here. And I'm going to watch the vessel. Assuming we're in range, I would like to see a missile or a gun or whatever it's going to choose to attack that target. Come on, don't be an awkward vessel.
Huh. Yeah, it's probably just going to choose the gun, I think.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it probably just only use the gun.
Right.
I think the missiles, they're only going to use it against other ships.
Yeah, so it's refusing to fire the cruise missiles for whatever reason, but that's how it is. So let's see if we can get the gun to fire. We're going to have to get within the range. Anyone know the range of the gun? It's going to be about 20 clicks, isn't it?
0.5 to 15.5 kilometers.
Roger, so we've got quite well to go yet. Now, if it looks awkward that we can't use the weapons that we want, then that's just how Combined Arms is. That's not to say that you can't get the missiles to fire. You can do that within the mission editor, but you have to pre-do that in the mission editor. And I've got a video on how to do that, how to choose which weapon to fire, how many rounds to fire, stuff like that. But we can't do that in the Combined Arms interface. Haha, right. Fired. Let's fire another shot. So this is just for us firing a single shot from Combined Arms. Let's try that again. So attack target. I'm just going to plonk it in there. Doesn't really matter. Watch him. Up goes the gun. He'll have a single pop. Pew! Now watch the target. And what we're going to have is a serious flight time. And eventually those bullets will come down and strike. It will take about a couple of minutes at least. Boom! And we have impact. And you can see it's got a lot of deviation because it's firing. Well, I can actually see it over there, I think. But it is firing a long way away. That's us. Haha, steaming in. So that's firing for a certain target. What we're going to show now is that if we have it in the ROE for fire, we can just move it within visual range of these targets, and it will actually start firing at those targets itself with its own choice of weapon. It may use the Seawears, it may use the 76mm, whatever we think. So that's just to save time, I'm going to just magic it closer to those targets. Now, he will take a little while to get to battle stations, so he won't fire quite yet, but I've not told him to fire. I've just... Oh, there we go. I've just put him on fire as a modal case. So I'm just going to turn that sounds up, because if there's one thing we do like, it's hearing a 76mm gun. Be interesting to see if it uses its Seawears. Haha! Look at that, boys! Seawears!
Just near the guns, fire rate is a lot slower than
It shouldn't be that slow.
That's
unless
cool.
if it's just that accurate that it's just one-shotting everything and it's just taking time to acquire.
I just see the Seawears move and change targets. It's pretty sick. If I was a Seawears, I would just strafe all over it.
Give a good old Arnold Schwarzenegger scream.
Yeah, good so. Oh, it does show that it can use the Seawears for ground targets if it wants.
I'm starting to wish we had World War II ships to shop compartments.
Oh, that would be brutal.
Right, very good, guys. What I'm going to do now is regards the we can't get the missiles to fire from here, the ground missiles. You need to do it through the mission editor by the looks of things. We can get the gun firing and Seawears firing. What we need to do next is do some anti-ship, and the way we'll do it is we'll just run it at another ship. When it detects the other ship as a target, it'll start firing whatever it wants to fire, and we'll see what happens. We'll put it against an Oliver Hazard Perry, and yeah, it should be fun. So let's go and get that set up. Okay, we're back in. We don't really need to be the reason, we'll just be a spectator this time. So what we've got is our frigate here. It's heading this way, and this frigate, the Oliver Hazard Perry, is heading that way. They're going to meet each other, initially more or less head on, and then as they get closer, they're going to broadside each other. And we're just going to see what happens. We've just left them to fight each other, basically. So we'll see what happens. I don't know who's going to fire first. I don't know what they're going to fire. It's all up to the AI in this case. Again, if we did it from the mission editor, we could change that. We could have them shoot missiles at each other from 100 miles, but I want to let them fight each other to see what they do at their own intelligence. We'll speed that up. No idea when they're going to start firing. We're just going to have to see. We're about 50 miles away from each other at the moment. Check the distance. Now, usually when I do this, they don't fire at each other over the horizon. They do have the ability to do that, but they don't do it because they're in green state usually. So let's keep going. I've got a while to go yet. And over the under the horizon, or with the horizon, it's about 20 miles-ish, something like that. And they'll visibly see each other.
I was wondering, does DCS simulate if you send a scout ahead, will it launch a cruise missile farther? I just thought of that.
That'd be interesting. Whoa! Well, look, they started exactly the same time. Let's pause there and have a look at that. The distance between they started firing was about 22 miles, so they can just see each other now. Let's see if we can go to that guy and see if we can see him off anywhere. I can't quite. Oh, I saw him. There he is. Hello. Okay.
It's a hover boat.
I've got AGM, so the harpoons are coming out of the Oliver Hazard Perry, and the YJ-80. Ah, so these are the cruise missiles. So the cruise missiles are firing now. So that's a harpoon. And that there is the, sorry, what was it called, guys? The AJ? Let me check. The YJ-83. So, okay, let's get on with that. So these are 474 knots at 230 feet. These, and this, oh god. And these ones are 448 knots at 50 feet. So these go at, over 200 feet. These go at 50 feet, 53 feet. So that's how the harpoons work. They go below radar. These are not below radar. So I'm wondering if these are going to get shot. But they do have quite a small cross section, look.
Do you know a tactic that's been changing over time is that instead of trying to fly under the radar to make it that you have less reaction time, you just go at the target as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's what the Russians have. The Russians have the SSN-22 kitchens, I think they are, and they go at Mach. I timed them at Mach 3.5 or something, and just pure kinetics they can get through. Well, one thing to say is the YJ, they fired at the same time. The YJs are much faster, but we're still just cruise missile speed. The Oliver Hazard Perry should shoot it down. That said, Oliver Hazard Perry has really shitty guns on it. And where is it here? Look, the phalanxes are right at the back there, so they're not going to be able to defend itself. You know, it's stupid design. I don't know why they did it. I suppose they, in reality, maybe they would turn themselves around. In fact, why don't I might not get time to do this now, but if I quickly go to Coalition, Red Games Master.
Yeah, not only would it be able to turn a little faster, it's also got that alternate propulsion system that lets it pretty much turn on a dime.
Well, they usually will engage from one of their sites and not hit on.
So I'm turning it now. Look, I'm turning it. I might do it in time. I might not. Probably not. Let's just pause that. So let's watch. Oh, what was that? Something else is fired. A HQ-16 is fired to shoot these down. Look. How interesting. So the HQ can see these AJM-82, 84 harpoons, even though they're on the deck, at a range of 10 miles. How impressive. I don't know what to watch first. Probably the YJs. So these YJs, look, that phalanx, I think, could fire at it, at the angle I put the ship at. Yeah, the phalanx is firing. No, it's not going to fire. For some reason, it's not seen the YJ-83. I don't know why. Stop there.
But it's fire SM1s.
It's quite clear line of sight though, isn't it? Look at that. And the SM1s haven't fired either, even though this is quite hard. For some reason, the Oliver Hazard Perry just can't seem to shoot these things down, and I don't know why that is.
Did it save the settings from last time when you disabled the missiles?
No, it's it should be on red state. I've told it to be red state, but you see it just bugs, goes back to green. But it should still, even in a green state, it should be able to defend itself from these type of things. It's so... Oliver's Hazaperi just refuses to defend itself. It's very annoying. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, in the last video, didn't you like disable it in the settings or something, tell it not to use missiles when you're trying to get the Korvac to fight it?
Roger. I'll go and check afterwards and make sure. But I think I had a quick look, and I don't think I did, but we'll go and have a look. Right, let's watch this SA-11 modifier missile.
That missile looks so steampunky.
Pretty cool, right? Oh, one of the missed. Okay, it's got more HQs going out. You see how these go off to the side first? Rocket off to the side and then go. Pretty cool. Oliver Hazaperi, just because it can't defend itself, it just doesn't have a chance. I just don't think it's working at the moment in DCS. No, it's sending harpoons out. It's still in the game. And it's definitely fighting, so it should defend itself now. There's nothing, you know. It just will not defend itself. It is very frustrating for us viewers. There's perfectly broadside. Will not defend itself.
Okay, you see what should have totally had that one.
Yeah, it's just not working. So there's not much we can do about that, and it's dead now. And these harpoons are probably going to get taken out. I want to see one firing. Too late. And that's after the VLS. No, you can see, oh look, you can see the VLS things are open. Where they came from. Or something.
Yeah, that middle part is for the exhaust. What happens is when the missile launches, the flame's got to go somewhere, so it shoots out the middle as it launches.
Oh, interesting. Fire!
The VLS on U.S. missiles work the same way. Or ship.
Roger. Right, one of them got through. Look at the speed on the thing. Look at the speed on it. An impressive beast. Wow. Great stuff. I mean, there's no way to even really test it seaways like that because it's just too good. Well, so far, excellent stuff. It uses weapons really well. We're just going to go and check that I hadn't turned that Oliver Hazaperi off. I'm pretty sure I didn't. If I go to here, no, I haven't added anything to it apart from tell it to be red state.
Okay.
So it's just that Oliver Hazaperi is not working properly. Right, never mind. What I'll do next then is we're going to test the surface-to-air weapons. So let's see. I'm going to fly my F-15 at it. We'll see what range it shoots me, what weapons it uses when. See if it uses it 76mm, etc. So stand by. I'm going to save that, and off we go.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see how it's going to be like trying to dodge these things.
Yeah, from the looks of it, it has the tracking ability of the SA-15 with the range of the SA-11.
Roger. I can't remember.
So basically, it's a really big nasty.
Yeah.
Roger. Now, from memory, the SA-11 missile, the Buck missile, is actually quite easy to dodge. So we'll see if I can dodge it. I probably won't be able to, but we'll try. Right, so we're going to fly towards it. We're 50 miles away at Angels 6. Let's get some altitude, get some height. You can see the top plates, or whatever radar, search radar, the 3D radar, is showing us unknown. We just don't have that type of radar in our memory banks in our F-15, which is probably realistic. Still searching, still no track. Still searching, still no track. We're quite close now. We are 36 miles, no track.
Are the race balls?
Around 30, less than 30 miles.
I
think I saw 40.
Oh, what's that?
40 kilometers.
One of its things just opened up. It's going to fire at me, guys. I think it's going to fire. It's definitely about to do something. So it's looking at me with these little guys here at the moment. Well, there we go! Woo! Yeah, there's his track. It's fired at me from 30 miles. So that's a lot longer than far further than a book can launch at. From memory, a book is, well, it's a little bit longer. Book's about 20 miles. This is about 30 miles by the look of it. Okay, let's see if we can see that missile. There it is. Hello. Right, let's see how easy this radar is to notch. Second missile out. Okay, we've notched that missile. Let's head back in again. Look at that, it comes and smacks me in the face. Wow, that's pretty hardcore.
They almost look.
That's a good radar.
It almost looked like it was drifting at you.
And hit me again. Wow. Yeah, they do that. Right, let's see if we can beat one kinetically then. Where's a missile coming? Not yet. Okay, it's just fired. We can find it. Let's see if we can beat one kinetically. Nah, you can't even beat the thing at 9G. Cheeky bastard. Right, well let's go and those are nasty weapons, man. Bearing in mind those missiles are running at gliding at that point, they're not even running on motor.
I wonder if one of the modifications is that they changed the pins up.
Well, those are really advanced missiles compared to a buck. Shit! Well, let's put ourselves. I wonder if I can take off again like this. Oh, I survived! Haha, nice. Super gap. Oh, I can't dodge him whatever I do. I hate you so much.
I think the only thing you can do is drop the missile into the sea.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can do. Let's launch one. I'll see if I can drop it. I'm going on altitude. Maybe I have. Yeah, you can dip them. Look. Right, let's see what's going to fire at me next.
Probably is the serious time.
I think brutal.
7 barrel 30 mil. Shit! Saying that, I've got 6 barrel 20 mil. Oh shit! The power! Owie! Stop it. Can it shoot above itself? That's an interesting thing if it can.
Still missing you.
Can't hit me. I was wondering if it can shoot directly above itself, because a lot of the Russian vessels can't. Yes, it can. Look at that. Yeah, so it's got full 360 degrees, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. Full dome view. So there's nothing I can do to beat that Sea Whiz. As a Russian, you can go up quick and come down above it, and it can't shoot you. Look at that.
Modern ship is kind of like eliminated most of the weaknesses.
What a bitch. I don't think we can get the gun turret to fire. It's the main gun.
Do you remember seeing it does have an AA round, but I couldn't find too much on it.
Let's see if that gun's aiming at me. No, that gun won't fire. Look at that. That's twin Sea Whizzes. That's why I'm getting so screwed. Right. I don't think there's much more tests to do, guys, apart from doing the honourable thing.
Crash into it?
Yes. Grim Reaper's ending. Or the win.
The ultimate close-up.
Very honorable.
Oh, my honor! Get some! Saw her in half. I probably do a lot of damage in real life, hitting from the top like that.
Yeah.
Lols. Right, anyway, that was jolly good fun, wasn't it, boys? Anything you want to add to the Type 54 a Yantai?
This is the power of the modern navy.
Oh, I have done damage to it. Look at this on the side. You see all that frag damage on the side?
Yep.
Oh, it's damage everywhere. You see all that damage? So it's modelled all those bullet hits. How clever. Very good. Happy with that, boys. Alright, thanks to Onslaught, thanks to Daiichi. I'll see you for the next vessel, and hope you enjoyed that. See you later.